thering ansu dalam thedo na Yangchen Dolkar so nyeji shugi Yangchen Dolkar ni ABKJ serwa America council la she khangi na nyejen bai chale na shindu and Yangchen Dolkar ni chungdi so Herbertpur tenlo me shirim goma I loktar Timbata and Theje ani Bangalore St. Joseph Tholopna Penjo Rigbezula Ramjam Batwendu and Thande Charyanchi Dolani Bangalore GTPN li Chomi Shigi and Thiring Ansui Tamshi Jushini Lega Tha Lobin Timin Chitan Churchish how to face an interview Shudam for Tamshi Noidu Yanchi Dola.
Hello, Samala. Ani ये presentation दी कुछ हुआ Okay, sama just net haring desin kita focus main focus is to speak in English and to speak in Tibetan. I think we are going to speak in English and also we can use Tibetan in between also, right? And feel free to ask any questions. What I would request is before I start, everybody to keep the phone in mute unless if you are talking, then you can unmute so that we can avoid disturbance. And also keep your mobile phone on silent mode. Take care of the, if you put it on mute, that would be helpful. Okay. So today topic, the topic, the how to face an interview. The topic, the topic D face the malingela job interview there's a lot of work where you have to apply, prepare a resume, apply for a job, a whole lot of process. So all the process is done. Now you have reached the stage where you are attending an interview, right? So attending an interview can be different types, and as well as it can be what I have done is first I have broken that into 3 phases. So if I see here, I have broke up the 3 different phases. Phase 1 is someone is not mute. Can you please check if someone can put mute? There's a lot of disturbance. Okay, thank you. All right. So phase one, I would say that prior to an interview. So before you attend, prior to interview is one phase, and then second is on the day of interview, and then the third is post interview. So after you attend the interview, so what are the the exercise you can do, and before we going in depth about explaining about each phases, I would like to first discuss about the type of interview. So I would prefer you all to understand what are the type of interviews are there, right? So back then in the old days is a different thing. Now the lot of technology improved, and also the expectations has improved. So that's why there are different type of interview that I would it's important to know, right? So coming to types of interview, we have face-to-face interview, where you meet a person in person, and then you are attending the interview. And then another is a video. So nowadays there's a video interview happening now, especially at this point of time where COVID-19 is the issues there. Most of the people don't prefer to meet in person for safety measures, but there is a demand in the manpower and human resources there. So in such scenario, video has helped a lot. The technology has helped a lot. So if you see, so if I just give an example, graphic example, like how the video interview happens. So during the video interview, what are the requirement is there. So example, like you need a good computer there, or if it's a mobile, yes, you have, and then you need to have a notepad together, so that everything is accessible, right? So that and most important is you have a good internet connection. That's also important. I would like to stress a little bit more on the video interview. Why? Because this is the trend now, and it's going to be a future interview. This methodology will be implemented in future for a long term. So in a video interview, you need to make sure that when you are arranging the infrastructure, you need to have all working. There's no issue while in the middle of the interview, and also the position of the suppose you are using laptops, making sure that you position that well, so that your headshot is shown well. Sometimes you see like half head, right? So if I give an example, if I give an interview like this, you may not prefer that. So you would like to see a proper face also, and you need to take care of your background also, making sure that the background has a relevant. If it's relevant information is there, good. Otherwise, always opt for the plain background. And then keep the note aside of you. Always, if you have to note down or if you have to refer, make it handy, right? So that's another thing. And also the audio, right? Make sure that you are audible to the interviewer. It's very important. If it's not audible, the interviewer may not understand you, right? So it's very important you have an audible arrangement. And the next is telephonic. So telephonic is a little bit older, I would say, not the latest. Nowadays, very few prefer opting for a telephonic. But yes, there are still companies who have an interview through telephonic. So there are many companies who will have a process of interview, like first stage, they will contact you, your resume will be shortlisted, then they will contact you and they will exchange you few mails. But make sure that the moment they contact you, they have started evaluating you. So then, whenever you're writing a mail or replying a mail, you make sure that you're replying in a professional manner. Another thing is about now what they prefer is before meeting you, most of the company would prefer a telephonic interview. So during that time, what should be the arrangement? So you should be aware of that. You have a good telephonic telephone connection, and also there is no background or disturbance, and your voice is clear. And there's an advantage and disadvantage when you use a technology. But when you're doing a telephonic, the advantage is you can have a notes ready with you. You can refer the notes, whatever you need to say. These are the advantage you have in the telephonic round of interview. And the most important part is in a telephonic round of interview that you pay attention to your tone of the voice. The tone of voice will play a very important role, right? So making sure that not only clarity, but when you're talking, a little smile will sound different. You talk in a very casual way or very stressed out manner, or you smile and talk. When you hear it, it's a different impression it leaves behind. The next is panel interview. So panel interview is also very what I would say is more stressful interview, where you will see 3 to 4 people sitting in front of you, and it can be in person and it can be on the video call also. And panel interview where you are the only one and there were the 4 or 5 people sitting and questioning you. So during that time, you are being observed by many people, right? So that's what this panel interview is one thing. Another thing is group discussion. So whatever image I use, it's a similar. So in a group discussion, what we'll do is they will let you sit all the candidates sit together, and they will give us some topic, and then they will make you to speak. So during that time, they will observe you, they will be observing from the out of the group. Sometimes there will be one moderator in the middle, and then moderator will be keep coming in between and try to, intervene in between if the conversation is going a little out of track. So, but during that time, observer will look at you, how you are able to communicate within the group or within a team, and how is your attitude towards each other. During group discussion, the very important part is don't be overconfident. Sometimes what happens is, the individual thinks that if I talk a lot and if I try to, I stand up and talk and show something, I may look dynamic. That could be wrong. It's very important that be humble, allow other person to speak, give opportunity to other person to speak, and then you too participate. And but keeping quiet is it's a very risky, I would say that. When it's a group, you need to contribute in somewhere. So and the observer will, also keep observing. If you don't contribute a lot, think that you will be eliminated in the group discussion, from the group discussion stage, right? So I'm saying that group discussion is generally used as a part of the interview. As I told you, there's a different process of interview, right? Most of the time, like hospitality industry, such as hotel, or I would say that airlines, especially airlines, they would have this group discussion process of interview session. Another one is the written or online. So there's some interview where it is given through the online. They will send you a set of questions and they will request you to answer to those questions. And there are some certain forms and documents to fill up. And within the documents, there will be a lot of questions. So example, like most of the entrance test exam, or say that university admission, this methodology is widely used in universities and schools and colleges. And also when you're applying the visa, any visa when you're applying, I'm sure people who might have applied would have experience. At that time, they will have a lot of questions on that. So making sure that you are attentive, you do a one mock-up session, and then you save it, but do not submit it. You know what I mean. So practice is recommended when whatever task you do it. I have more points to share with you on the later slide. So the written and online is one of the important interview style been adopted, and also most of the medical schools and medical certification or engineering certification, certified professionals, professional certification, those kind of things are mostly they use this written and online interview. Coming back to now the phases. So first phase is the prior to interview. Prior to interview, what you do? Prior to interview means like kranzo interview attend machi ngola ta ngo jorang de kranzo kharita chego action kharichu le. So in the prior to interview, the most important first is understand. Suppose now where we are reached a stage where is you got a call from company and say that, hey, we want to arrange an interview for you, so and so date given, and you have an interview date fixed. So then now you're going to attend the interview, so you're going to prepare it. So it's more of preparation stage, I would say that. Interview, prior to the interview, you need to arrange what is requirement and prepare yourself. So the first important thing is understand the job description. So in here, you need to understand, when you apply it, you might have seen the job ad, right? So when you apply it, try to remember from the point number one, like when you applied the job, what is the job description says on the ad, right? So you might have seen an ad there where there's a job and then you applied it. So go back and brush up your memory on what the job description says. What is the designation is? is it? Because, when you are aggressively applying the job, you forget sometimes. Because me as a interviewer of so many years, sometimes I see when I call the candidate, they don't remember. They will be like, oh, the moment they do that, I know that they don't remember. So it leaves a very doubtful impression. If the hiring company is compassionate enough, they will try to accommodate you and understand. But when it's a competitive, when there's a large pool of applicants coming, then they will eliminate you if you don't remember the company where you have applied for. So it's very important that you understand when did you apply, you understand the designation you have applied, and understand the roles and responsibility being mentioned. And also another point is about know the company, right? So before I go to the first one, so roles and responsibility is very important to understand, and try to connect what is your expertise is, and then how you can be the best fit for this job. So you need to first understand the job description, roles and responsibility, and then connect your ability with it. I'll take you more on the third, prepare and practice. On that stage, I will take you more on that. Now, number 2 is know the company. It's very important that you should know where you're applying for. When you are applying for the job, if you don't know the company's information, it is not good for you, as well as the company would not take risks to hire somebody who don't know about them. Why? Because most attrition rate is very high in India, right? I would say that. And when you see if you don't know about company, suppose you are hired and you're joined, then tomorrow you may think that, oh, I'm in a wrong company. This is not the place I want to work here, right? So it's very important to know about the company. When you know about the company, try to understand what business types they are into. And see example like accounting or engineering, or let's say software engineering. You need to understand what type of business within the engineering. There's a different business types. Within the accounting, there's a different business type. Some accounting companies, it's an accounting company, but they take care of some specific area. Or let's say the taxation. Under the accounting job, or I would say that financial management job, there's a different kind of a category and business setup comes. So it's very important to what type of business types are there, whether you are knowledgeable in that. If you are not knowledgeable, or if you have not been familiar with that, being a long gap, go back. Suppose like the position is for the taxation executive. You need to go and brush up what is the latest tax rule is in India, right? Or you say if you are in US or anywhere, you need to understand that. So brush up your knowledge in that area. So that's what understanding the business type is very important. Know the leadership. What kind of leadership is there they are following? Is there any growth for you or not? Knowing the leadership like hierarchy system and the setup will help you to understand you can project your future in that company. So if you think that this company, there's not much growth, the leadership is very conservative and very authoritative, something you get some information definitely you will get if you do research. So research can be done through the online. You can call the known people around, try to understand from your peers and your colleagues or your friends. So knowing the leadership style and how you can fit in yourself and if there's any growth or not. But some people would just think about short term, right? I just want a job. I'm not looking so far. So that's a different thing. But I think knowing leadership it'll help you a lot to understand your growth in that company. And then try to know the history of the company, how they started and where they are now, or their startup. If they are a startup, what are the challenges there in startup, and what is the pros and cons there in the joining in startup company. Prepare yourself mentally is very important, that is that job is right for you or not. And another thing, the last thing is, I would say that knowing something about interviewers. Suppose you know that you're going to interview by so-and-so person. So if you go back and try to know a bit about interviewer, will help you a little bit less stressful for you, that you know that who you're going to sit with, right? So knowing about interviewer will help you a lot. Coming to the third one, which is prepare and practice, most important part. Most of the people think that, oh, tomorrow is my interview, or say like I have an interview after 1 week. It's okay, I can deal with it. Some casual mentality will be there. But I would say, especially when now here on this group, many of them are students and the early stage of career, I would always recommend to prepare and practice. That will help you a lot. Imagine that at the interview, you just get 5 to 20 minutes, or say 5 to 15 minutes opportunity to sit with somebody, and that person is going to evaluate you. So I think that 15 minutes is going to be a game changer for you to avail that opportunity, right? So it's very important that you be a little serious and practice and prepare, do some initial preparation and practice. So to take you the more in-depth about prepare and practice, because this was one of the most important. So so when you're preparing and practice, I would say that try to, first, most important part is resume. Someone called you for interview, has looked on your resume, based on that, they're impressed about you, that's why they called you, right? So it's very important that you know what you have written there. Situation where it came that I have come across many candidates that, they don't know what they have written in resume. They have a lot of things written, but when you sit with them and try to ask, they don't know what they have written. It is definitely they have written it, but they've forgotten or not paid attention, or they might have just done it for sake of it to win the attention, right? So you might have got through the first round of interview, but when you come at the interview, if you're not able to say what you have written there, or if you're not able to elaborate further on what you have written in resume, that's going to be a minus point for you. So it's very important that you go through your resume, what you have written, and I would generally say, it's just because we're not going to discuss a lot about, we don't want to discuss detail, but I would say in resume, I would always recommend to write, prepare a resume in chronological order. In a sense, put the latest information on the top, and then put the older information later. What I see is most of the fresher, I would say, because there's a huge difference between the resume coming from the fresher and the person who has an experience. Especially, I would say that people beyond 10 years of experience, I see there's a huge difference. See, the initial fresher, and there is a mid-level who has like, say, 2 to 4 years or 5 years experience. Then they say like beyond that, 8 to 10 or 10 to. So when there's based on the years of experience, we can see how the resume culture is being maintained. So this is my personal observation. So I would say that no matter what, whether you're a fresher or whether you are so many years of experience, I would always recommend to put the latest information on the top of it. So if you're a fresher, you think that, oh, I don't have much to write, only schooling. But I would suggest also to write about what kind of a community welfare initiative you might have taken, or while doing your university or your education, you might have say the latest education during that period of time. You might have done a lot of initiative, community welfare initiative, or some kind of a say that student group of leadership. Any kind of initiative you have taken, mention that. These are the plus point. And always I stress when I go and talk to the young in college students or the school, I would always say that participate in extracurriculum activity, because that will add you, that will not only give you a good experience, but it will add you on your profile, plus point on your profile, and also that will define you to be a better person. So that's what on resume, you can always mention those. So in the Tibetan community, you do a volunteer with the Tibetan Youth Congress, very common, Tibetan Women Association. You do a lot of participation, right? So always add those experience there. So, second part is subject knowledge. Very important to have a subject knowledge, have a subject knowledge. And suppose if there's a specific designation, as I told you about, say that you're going for accounting job. When it's about, if you're going for accounting job, you make sure that you brush up your knowledge in accounting job. What accounting generally does, right? Bookkeeping, right? Mostly bookkeeping, tally, and likewise. Now, when you go for taxation, then you should be knowing about tax law, right? What is the tax law in the past and what is the recent one? So now in taxation, there are like domestic taxation and there's international taxation. So you must be knowing. And also the banking. If you're applying for the banking or insurance company, or say you're in engineering, what kind of engineering, the designation you are applying for. So it's very important that you brush up your knowledge and make it able to, you are fresh in your memory, and when the questions asked, you are able to give an answer. And another thing about the subject knowledge is sometimes they may ask you for a written test. They may give you a written test also. So you have to prepare yourself that, oh yeah, interview is not only just about sitting in front of somebody and giving question and giving answer to the question, but sometimes they may ask you for the written test also. And knowledge is not only enough, but you should know how to implement that. So when you come and do a job, it's like you are now practically implementing what theory you have learned in school. So in school, it's all about theoretical, right? They stress a lot in theories, but very rare, give us stress, pay attention in practical. So an example, nowadays, a lot of the school would encourage to student to do internship, right? So internship is the opportunity where you get a practical experience. And it's very difficult to get. I know that most of the company won't take risks having somebody fresher, but unless or until you're very dynamic and smart, they may hire you. But I would say that still always look at the case study and try to implement your knowledge based on the case study. And there's an ample of information on this site that you see as case studies. So example like accounting, right? Oh, someone had a tax, example back in the past. I would say that there's a Hutch, right? Hutch companies now become Vodafone, right? Why is it so? Hutch went through a massive tax invention. The government has demanded the tax more than what their income is. So why is it so? So go back to look at those scenario and then implement your knowledge. So that will help. So implementation is also looked into while at the interview. All right. So next is about as I told you about interview types, different type of types. Make sure that you're meeting all the needs, right? As I told you, different types, what all are requirement. Make sure that you plan that ahead and do a mock-up session. Just, prepare yourself to be ready 2 days ahead. What all required, testing, everything, do that. Fourth is about the communication skill. So the communication skill is the most important you need to pay attention at. Why? Because interview is all about communicating and telling who you are to them, right? And likewise, even the HR also, like how HR, I generally tell to my junior, HR, I generally tell that, don't think that only you are evaluating the candidate, but you should know that even candidate evaluates you. And for me, an example, I always, I prefer that candidate evaluate me. I always, when I sit with somebody, I'm not just evaluating them, but I am ready that other side of the table is also looking at me and evaluating me. So that way that both the sides presenting the best at that time. And I would say that best means professional, right? So communication skill is most important part. Most of the people, they think that, won't pay much attention, especially within our Tibetan, because I've been, doing career counseling for a very long time, since almost 10, 15 years, I would say, but as a volunteer, right? I'm not as specialized into that field, but as a volunteer. And I help a lot of Tibetan people, Tibetan students and job seekers, grooming them, trying to help them to get job. So I've been doing that. So I have met many of them. And also I am working in the Indian industry, as well as I've traveled to US. I've seen the vibrant kind of a culture and people's personalities and likewise. So since this is specific for Tibetan students, I would focus a lot on what I have seen and where the area, we need to improve upon. And communication is most important part, where I find that a lot of the Tibetan is lacking behind. And we have to stress a lot on that. And I also suggest that not only here in session, please do homework and try to know the communicate, to build the communication skill, a good communication skill. So communication skill, I would say, I would break up into a verbal and non-verbal. So when you say the verbal and non-verbal, verbal is like when you open your mouth, how you speak, right? It's about verbal means you are talking, right? Right? And you're expressing yourself. Non-verbal is example of non-verbal is, I would say, like, see, verbal is like how you're talking, your talking style, what kind of words you're using, how you are presenting yourself while talking. And non-verbal is body language. How your body language is when you are at the interview, how you're sitting, right? How you're sitting. It will give a lot of message to the other side. And then your facial expression. If you are stressed out, immediately it will show to your face. And then another one is, I would say, about the eye contact. When you're talking to somebody, it's very important to you look at the individual eyes and talk, not like you are talking like this. Like, I have experienced such kind of a candidate who just talk looking down and they keep talking. All answers is perfect, but never look at me and talk. So I don't know in such scenario what kind of a evaluation we should be giving at. But when it's about the many candidates, definitely that person may get eliminated. Why? Because you must know that for one position there are hundreds, right? So among hundreds they're going to select few. So that's what you have to present the best. When you're communicating, give eye contact. And also it gives a confidence, and also it says that psychologically, if someone is not comfortable or lying, they would not give eye contact. So that's what very important, to give eye contact. But I'm not saying when you say eye contact, you just keep looking at someone like this, and that the person would get scared of you, right? It was like, oh my God, what's wrong with this person? Just looking at, just staring at me is not looking at, right? So that's what, there's a way of looking at someone. And then another thing is about the hair, your outfit, what kind of outfit you wear. So it's very important at the interview when you go professionally. So if you get an example, if you look at me, that I wore a collar shirt and I'm wearing a blazer, and I know that who all I'm going to meet, but there's a choice I have. I can come with my casual outfit, I can wear whatever I like and come. I have a choice, but I will not prefer that. I would be more, dressed up and look professional, because I'm going to talk about professional, and also I respect you all, since you all are participant. So it shows a respect also, like, I'm respecting the participant who's coming here. That's why I'm going to present myself the best. So when you go for interview, it's not only about you looking good, but also you are giving respect to the other side of the person there who's going to take interview of you. So that's what, it's a both ways, right? And also the outfit, I say, when back in past, when I meet the candidate, especially when I met few Tibetan, I give an example with Tibetan students, and then the initial career stage, the guys come with a denim pant, and their hairstyle is like going up towards, it's colored blonde, and then come for interview, looking like a supermodel, right? Looking like a supermodel. And I sit with the person and I ask the student, what kind of job you're looking for? So he's from the accounting background, and I'm looking for accounting job. Then I was like, all right. So after sitting, then I gave him a feedback. I had said, I thought you were coming here. I thought you are going to join into some fashion industry, or I thought you were looking into job for the beauty salon kind of a job. I thought so when I look at you first time, because I want to be sincere. Why? Because you are at the initial career stage, but then you happen to you have surprised me that your interest of job opportunity is totally different. So it's very important that you wear an outfit resonating your profession which you are looking for. all right? And I say that if you go to a Tibetan office, you wear some Tibetan attire, chupa, wear chupa and go, because you're going to Tibetan office. And we are, Tibetan are very, very cultural, respectful to culture, our culture, maintaining, preserving our culture. So it's nice to wear a Tibetan outfit when you go for a interview at Tibetan office. So when I come to the outside private companies and all, everybody wear Western, I would wear Western. Now, if you're going for salon kind of a job, then you do some nice hairstyle so that it gives you a good impression that, oh, wow, he has some creativity presentation on himself. It gives a good impression also. And if you're in a hotel, you make sure that you wear a hotel or airlines, right? You make sure that you wear a nice formal outfit and have a nice makeup done, right? So these all are expected from the individual professional basis. So implement what generally the profession demand, right? So now coming back to the verbal, I would say, so in verbal, when you're talking, it's making sure that you listen first what the interviewer is saying, especially the question, whatever question asked, you try to understand. If you don't understand the question, just say, I beg your pardon, could you please repeat your question? So try to understand the question well, and then reply. When you're replying, make sure you're replying to the point, not a lot of unwanted, not related subject. I would say that it's very important that you give a to the point answer. So whether you go for an interview for the school or admission, or whether you go for the job interview, or you go for visa, right? When you go for visa, when the officer asks you, consulate asks you a question, you reply to that specific only. You don't speak beyond that, all right? The moment you speak beyond, it gives an impression of either you are not confident, or you're overconfident, or you're manipulating. You got me, right? So very important that when you are speaking, speak limited and to the point. Other thing is about if you're nervous, I would say that, oh, you're not sure about answer and you're a little nervous, you can pause, no problem. You can pause a little bit and then again continue speaking. I would not suggest you to use an interjection word. So interjection word is generally like when you talk, you say, these kind of words it will not show a good impression. So avoid those unwanted words. We generally call interjection words. And also interjection words are when you talk, some people use that basically I'm trying to say. They use that basically word. Or they use like honestly speaking. So if you are honestly speaking now, so all the other words what you use is not honest. So it gives that impression, very important that the other side is just observing you. So be very careful when you're speaking and avoid those unwanted words. That will help you a lot. So apart from that, I would say that there are other communication style, very important, writing, right? Communication in writing, where you are writing email, you're communicating it, right? And then other communication would be coordinating. So these all coordination is a different thing. When you're coordinating, suppose now I'm going conducting thing, Mingmala is calling me, coordinating what can be done, what not done. So these are the coordination. So what happens is there are like HR who will coordinate you and arrange the interview. So make sure that you also take the coordinator seriously and deal with them respectfully. It's not that you be respectful and professional only to the main person who you are meeting. Example like reception or the HR executive who's arranging the interview. It could be the moment you come at that office, it could be the office boy, the clerk. It's very important that you deal with them on respectful manner, and you give a caller the person who's connecting you the call. So be professional and deal with them with a respectful manner. The last part is second part is about the commonly asked questions. So commonly asked questions it's very helpful if you know what is generally question been asked and how you reply to that. So preparing the answers to the questions, commonly asked question will help you. So in a commonly asked questions, I would say there are like example self-introduction, right? Practice who you are, right? First prepare yourself who you are, and then practice how you're going to say it. So especially a Tibetan, we are not that good in English. When you speak in English, you are not sure how you're going to phrase the sentence. So I would suggest to write down about yourself introduction briefly. Just say like 5 lines, not more than that, or 6 line maximum, right? Try to prepare a brief introduction about yourself, and then practice that, how you're going to say that. And then another example about is they will ask you about in a resume you have shared who you are and also your self introduction. They will try to connect with the job role. So when it's a job role, they'll ask you about how you connect yourself. Suppose example, like you say that you're very good in team collaboration. You might have written like that, I'm a team player. So in such scenario, they will ask you about, okay, if it's a team player, and then they will ask you a related question on that. They will say, okay, we have this kind of a task here, example A work, so would you be able to handle this? We have 4 to 5 people working. So then there are some people who like to work alone. They are able to work, they are like comfortable working alone than working with a group of people. So it's very important that you address that. They may ask you that, are you comfortable working in a group or you're working in a autonomous manner, in such scenario. So it's always good if you are able to work with a team, because we cannot avoid, working as a team, right? If you don't have, if you are not in that kind of a person, I think it's good to do some self-study and figure out how you can build that, skill, right? But it's understandable if you're not comfortable working with a group, and try to find the job which interests you the most, right? And the role. Another thing about the they will try to understand your personal growth. Like mostly commonly asked question is how you see yourself after 5 years. What is your plan? What is your short-term and long-term goals? So these are the commonly asked questions. Try to prepare the answer for that. And then another would be about what kind of but there are so many people who can do whatever job they can do it. Job role. So beyond the job role, what value-added contribution you can bring? So this question is also very common. So value-added contribution, what you can give, is the commonly asked, so you can think about and prepare about what value you can bring. So that's the one. Another thing is about the how you best fit for this position. That's a very commonly asked question. Then you need to present yourself. You are the best fit for this position. So you can go through online and find out commonly asked questions. There are ample lot of questions there, but there are very few which are very commonly asked. Tell me something about yourself. Don't be, I know when you go and keep going for an interview, you get tired of that question, right? Tell me something about yourself. And you'll be like, oh my God, I have to again say this. But what to do? The other person don't know you, right? So definitely they will ask you about that one. So commonly asked questions, please prepare the answers, try to learn that, and it should just come out from your mouth very comfortably, okay? The next is about plan the commute. Plan the commute is making sure that you understand wherever you're going, where you know the location where it is, how long it will take from your home to that location. So have all this projection ahead of time, so that on the interview day, you're not nervous about it. So plan your commute. If you are trying, you guys are very lucky that you have a Google. Back then, our time, internet is not that easily available or accessible. We figure out to reach there. So what I do is, in the past, I go one day ahead and look at the place where it is, and then the next day I'm able to reach there on time, and an auto driver doesn't cheat on you, right? So you guys are lucky you have a Google map. Look at it, exactly it comes. If required, please go there and go to the location, and look at it. But also it's very important to verify that if the interview call is legit or not legit. Sometimes the illegit call comes, especially the young people. You cannot just go for interview whoever calls you. You need to go and find out, as I told you, know about the company, where exactly it is, who's the caller, try to know about the profile, and then is that the right fit for you? And the most important, is it the location is legit or not? You need to verify that for your safety also, right? And then the next day you don't have any excuse of you're stuck in traffic or you're lost, couldn't know that. So that leaves a that gives a negative impression to them. Okay, coming late, you are not planned ahead of time. Coming to the second phase, so I'll have a questionnaire session at the end. All right, so first I will go through all, and then please, if you have any questions, note down and keep it ready. I'm past the first phase already. This is based on my experience and the presentation is, but you never know that individual will have a different experience. It's understandable. You can share with me and question me how to deal with those scenarios. I'm happy to answer to that. So keep your question ready for phase number 1. Now coming to the phase 2, right? As I shared with you before, phase 2 is the on the day of interview. I would say that on the day of interview and at the interview, right? So in the phase 2, now you are prepared everything and you are come at the venue. And I would say the first thing, try to reach there 15 minutes ahead, so that you have a desired time to relax yourself. Everybody is nervous most of the people are nervous at the interview. So any type of interview, I would again say that, be it your university admission, be it your job interview, or be it your visa interview, or be it any interview, please try to be there 15 minutes time ahead, so that you have some time to relax and be familiar with the environment. It's all psychology, right? If you get little familiar with the environment, automatically our brain signals out in a positive manner, and we'll be able to be little relaxed. All right, and then have a positive mindset and be professional. So why I'm saying here, have positive mindset, because what you think at that day, how you think, how you reciprocate, plays a very important role in who you are. So suppose you go to an interview, if you are unhappy or if you are not confident enough, it will immediately show on your face. So it's very important that you have a positive mindset, such as be confident, right? And try to be humble. I would say that always be humble. And when you come to the interview, I see that I have a user image here. It's a waiting, right? So there's a waiting space where you have to wait for your turn to come. So during that time, there will be this coordinating members who will come and talk to you, and then they may give you a documentation, some form to fill up also, right? So make sure that the moment you reach there, you've been observed. So it's very important that you have a relaxed mindset and think that be yourself, right? Be yourself and think positive, and then be confident, but don't be overconfident, right? The moment you're overconfident, it will show in your body. As I told you about body language, right? Above there, it's a non-verbal communication. So when it's communicating, you make sure that your whole body is communicating, all right? And the other side is observing you and can observe and understand you very well through your body language. So body language is your body posture, your facial expression, when you talk, your tone, right? So when I say hi, then when I say hi, so you see the different tone, right? So which one is more happy? The second one, right? Say hi, right? So there's a different tone. So that's what you need to pay attention on those two, right? So it makes a lot of difference. So positive mindset will immediately, show on your body, all right? And then sometimes you pink face, right? Why you pink face? Because you're shy, you're nervous, right? So that's what, if you reach there 15 minutes, you'll be really relaxed. You have enough time for go to washroom or, just be relaxed. And then another thing, now third, with a positive mindset, be professional, very important. When you talk in English, use a formal language. Don't use casual language. An example, when you take a help from reception, you cannot take the receptionist as a thing for granted. So example, like me, initial career, I have worked at the front desk, and I evaluate the person who comes there, right? I look at the person I see that how the person is treating me. If the person doesn't treat me well, I don't hesitate to tell that to HR manager. And that was in my early stage of career. Look at me, right? So you can find like me there. And like me, I was working and I was doing my MBA in the evening. So I'm not just there at front desk as just a front desk, but I'm the person who is learning every day to gain an intellectual knowledge, right? And I have a huge capacity, ability to evaluate the person also, right? So it's so important that whenever you deal with anybody, deal that the person is smarter than you. The moment you deal the person is smarter than you, automatically your attitude will change. So it's very important that. So when you're dealing with the reception about anything, say I'm here for interview and I'm here to meet Mr. Smith, so when you say that, you need to say to her, good morning, how are you? I'm here for the interview. Could you please check if Mr. Smith is there? You don't say that. Casual way of asking is, can you please check? So can you please check is not a formal word. You need to use, could you please? So like that kind of a tone, right? Even in Tibetan also, we have the respectful language, right? So please always speak respectfully to the other person, no matter what the other person's designation or the position is. And that will show you who you are. Always think that it represents you, not the other person. All right, how you deal the other person, it represents you. The third is about documentation work. As I said, when you go for constantly interview, you keep filling up form, you get tired. But what to do? This is an industry standard. So please pay attention. Don't take it casually. Make sure that you fill the documentation professionally, best handwriting. Some companies will make you handwrite. Some companies will make you fill up with a form on the computer. Whatever is given, do it genuinely, because that will show your ability of writing, maintaining and using the documentation. It will show your documentation skill. So please don't think that this is extra work, because some candidate has this attitude, oh my God, I have to write again. I have a resume here for you. Why you want me to write this? This kind of a candidate comes though, don't have that attitude. Think that the interviewer will look at how you have filled the document and how is your handwriting, how you have replied to all those questions also there. So very important to fill that attentively. Coming to next. Now you are at the interviewer desk. So when you are at the interviewer desk, there are certain experience you will feel that. So the first thing is about, before I go to the written test, I will take on the second point, which is establishing effective communication. So when you come at the desk, it's it will show you about how you are able to establish see, as I told you, communication is so important to learn, right? The different skills, different type of communication, understanding that. Now you're at the desk, it's the stage, it's the opportunity, a very short opportunity of 10 to 15 minutes. You have to present your best. So that time you need to implement the most effective communication style, so that you are able to win that other observer with a positive remark about you, right? So establishing an effective communication, I would share a few important points. So example, like when you are, they may ask you to give you a self-introduction, but some may not ask you a self-introduction. What they'll do, the moment you walk in, they'll be like, hi, hello, yeah, and they'll sit. Then, okay, let's start. Can you share something? They will say that, right? They may not ask you specifically. So then you need to, again, doing a self-introduction. I told you about preparing the self-introduction. Self-introduction will be applicable everywhere. So please prepare the self-introduction by yourself ahead of time and practice it. And then relate your self-introduction and then the job. Very important. The job role, what you have been hired, relate that. And give us some real-based example with that. So example, I would say that if you are being hired for the, let's give an example, say that you're hired for the taxation, you come for an interview for say accounting job, right? If you say accounting job, so they will try to understand, you will talk about yourself first, about your, what you, if you have experience, say about your latest experience, and then you say about your education background, and then give an example about how you can be the best for this job. So you get a give example of, okay, there are the company where I worked, or they say that during my school, there is a case study given on me, and give a real based case study, like this company has had got into trouble, looking, they don't have a proper accounting system, and I got in the I got involved in that task, and then I reviewed everything, I've identified whatever been the ledger and the journal watchers, the whatever watcher passing here, right? So it is not been documented properly. There are expense occurred, but bills are there, but it's not been documented. So you given a real base example, right? And I give an example. Let's say like Migmala, right? She's a coordinator, program coordinator for this for ENVISION, right? So if she is going for an interview, so should give an example, like, now let's take an example of this session. Okay, we had how to face an interview webinar series, and during that time my position is program manager, and what I did is I have contacted the speaker, and then I've gave a walkthrough about what is the objective behind, and then I've also made the announcement for that, and gathered the participant, have them registered. I've clarified the doubt and question from the participant, and then I've coordinated, and this session became very successful. So this kind of an example, real based example, will give a more weightage to your introduction about yourself. Okay, so example like chef. If you're going for chef position, you say that I managed to create this dish, and this dish is special because this is ingredient I use, and I've managed to, my customer really liked it, I got a promotion and so and so. Or you can say that in a school I've been awarded the best creative into the culinary food and beverages. Likewise, so give some real based example, will give a better weightage. Another thing about, always, as I said, stick with the topic. Always stick with the topic. Do not get distracted. Always speak about the connect yourself with the job roles and responsibility. Within that, try to speak. Another thing about the if in case, so now when you come for a job, you always want to know about the compensation part of it. Okay, you're excited about your salary, how much I'm going to pay. See, generally on the post, they will say that this is the budget for this salary for so and so designation. But some company will write as per the best industry standard. So then we don't know, right, how much they're going to pay the salary. But you already shared what is your salary, people who are already working. But for the new people, you are fresher, fine, no problem. So some company has for fresher, they have a salary slot of A, B, and C based on the candidate who you are, like based on your dynamic or based on how smart you are, they will quote your salary A, B, C, like that. All right. So in such scenario, you are curious about knowing that. But I would always recommend at the first time at the interview, avoid asking about compensation related. You can keep that for the later discussion. Unless or until the interviewer asks you question on that, then you are comfortable to discuss about it. But don't be too particular about that one. All right. So it's just that I would say you should be ambitious, but I'm just saying that let's not run there so fast, because we don't know whether we are hired or not. Right. So then other thing is about the questions. Have some questions ready ahead of time. Why? Because interviewer will ask you at the end of the interview, do you have any questions? So during that time, if you say, no, I don't have questions, it gives a very mixed kind of impression. So if you are not sure what question to be asked, I would generally suggest you be a little creative. Prepare some 2-3 questions, and ask that. So example like, when I can hear you the final decision about my hiring, Very positive questions. You're curious to know about this job position, and then it also shows that you are interested in that, right? And then example like what is the company culture like? Try to understand that. That question will also help you listen what the other person says about the company culture. Even you can decide upon whether this company is fit for you or not, right? And an example, what is the growth? If I happen to join in this company, what is my next promotion would be? If I perform, if my performance is recognized as the best performer, and what would be my next growth, and what position is there after position I can achieve. So these kind of positive questions, you keep it will help you, and it will give a good impression about you. So then the last part about the session is about the okay, another thing is after interview, sometimes what happens after interview, seeing you who you are and all, sometimes the interviewer will think that, oh, I want to have a written test, or we never know that that written test might be a next stage of the interview process. So if they request you to sit for the written test, do not hesitate to do that. Do not refuse, because I have come across in the past where the candidate are hesitant to write the written test. So if you refuse, it leaves a very negative impression. Always say yes, but if you think that you are too late to attend this written test and you want a time to prepare that, so what you can do that, could you please give me I would definitely want to attend this written test, but can you schedule a different date for that, because I have other tasks to attend after this. You got me, right? So if you say that in a way that you are buying a time for yourself to prepare and brush up your knowledge, in other way you are not refusing also. So be smart when you are giving an answer to them, all right? And do not refuse. And then the next is about the last thing about the do not miss to thank the interviewer. How much difficult you went through in preparation. Think that the other person also has walked through a lot to prepare for this. Everybody's working hard. So it's very important that you acknowledge the other person, put an effort to sit with you and interviewing you. Always wish them a thank you, and also when you are saying thank you, it depends on how you say thank you also. Your tone and your body posture, when you're shaking hand, how you shake your hand. So all those also plays an important role. I think the second part, we have the second phase, we are done with it. We have, as I said, let me walk through, arrive 15 minutes ahead of time, have a positive mindset and be professional always, attend documentation work attentively, attend written tests if any, establish effective communication relation with the interviewer, thank the interviewer, and end on a good note. All right. Phase number three. Phase number three is now you're done with the interview. You come back home and you're not sure whether you're selected or not selected. You're confused. So you will think about, oh, what happened? This happened. I don't know. I'm not sure about it. You're so nervous again after finishing the interview, right? Which is naturally, it's natural. It's not just you. Everybody go through that. Always think that whatever you're going through, think that thousands and thousands of people are going through the same experience. What best is calm down. You are done with that period. A lot of preparation. Then you attend the finally interview is done. You are like, oh, I'm done with it. I'm so happy about it. So, but now, after the interview, there are few steps to be taken. After you come back home, relax, then note down what lesson you have learned. It's so important. Whether you get hired for the job or not, lesson learned is very important to remember. Don't hesitate to note down so that you can refer it back. Sometimes we forget, and note down what you have learned. During that interview, interviewer asked me this question, I replied like this, or I would have replied better like this. I would have said like this, oh, I missed this. You feel like that kind of that kind of experience, please note down, so that the next interview you can utilize, you can be a better person, right? So note down all the lesson learned. And then if you do a written test, in a written test also you need to write the how answers you gave. I would have given the answers in that way. These all lesson learned can be done. And another thing I've actually want to address is about the interview times. If I go back here, I would say that at the interview, so generally they will have a technical and non-technical interview, right, at the time of interview. So at that time, technical interview will be more of your subject knowledge. They will be very specific about the core information, core subject matter, and they will see your theoretical knowledge, and they will understand how you're implementing the knowledge and your creativity. Another thing is creativity. So whatever the subject is, like technical is something like, if it's your engineer, it's about engineering. Then there's a non-technical, it's all about soft skill, right? How is your soft skill, how you are as a person and all like that. But then the technical part is most important. They will look at your expertise in technical first. If you're accounting, they'll look at knowledge about subject knowledge of accounting and how you're implementing the knowledge, taxation or anything, right? If you go to beauty salon, even they want to see your knowledge and then how you're implementing. So they will ask you to give you a model, and they will tell you to do the hair, right? And even in the airlines also, they do the same thing. They will try to understand how you are able to handle the situation, right? Or you are able to implement your knowledge to the. So please understand, at the interview, there will be some interview, especially the specific profession, there will be a technical round of interview and there will be a non-technical round of interview. So these two also you need to understand, all right? So the next is, after you come back, don't forget to write a thank you note to them, right? So just write a mail saying, thank you so much for your time. And, I appreciate, spending your time for, sitting with me for interview. And also it was great meeting you. And then keep it very short. Always, whenever you're writing any email, try to keep it 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. In a sense, like it shouldn't be more too long, or say maximum 6, but I would say paragraph 1, 2, 3. Don't have long. So follow up should keep it 1, 2. That's it. Not much, like 2 paragraph. I would say that, right? Thank you. It was great meeting you. I learned a lot about you. Sometimes when you sit for interview, you find very interesting. Interviewer has a lot of things to share, and you learn a lot. So do not, forget to thank that. That it's a learning for you, right? So appreciating is very important. And then, so I would say when you come back, either you write thank you when you come back, but I generally recommend to do it next day. But like the feel like marketing, right? If you're going for marketing kind of a job position, they want to see how aggressive you are. So I would say that you write the thank you note on the same day. But if you have the other position, you could do it next day. That's not a problem. Generally, ideal time is next day, So, and also request for feedback is very important. And then you say that you're looking forward to hear from them. And then the next is about the follow-up. When you do a follow-up, thank you, you do it, and then follow-up, you can do it. I would say that at the time of interview, when you will ask the question, right? When I can hear back and when the final decision will be made. So say if they say they need 1 week time, or they say 3 working days. So do that. 3 working days means on the 4th day, you write a follow-up mail. Okay, may I know the position? What is the decision been made? So you ask that question. If you do not hear, then please don't be stuck. Generally, most of the time, most of the company will not reply to those. If they will reply to or contact those people who are shortlisted. But some of them may say, if you say thank you, but it leaves a good impression. In future, if there's an opportunity, they may call you again. Don't think about only now, think about future also, right? But then feedback, it's just that shows that you're curious about learning, right? It gives that impression. But 99% you will not get reply, I would say that. For me, I have given few reply. In my company, I make sure that I write to them and tell the status, right? After taking desired time, I write to them, but there's a way of writing the mail, and then we generally write a mail. So we don't make the applicant be hanging in the middle. But majority of company has this culture of not replying to that. I don't find it great, but unfortunately, that's a culture been maintained all over the industry. So they may not give feedback, because if they give feedback, you may come back and may confront that. Situation like that occurs in reality. The candidate will be so nice until everything is good. The moment things doesn't go well, there are applicants and candidates who actually turn out to be violent. it's a fact. So that's what. But I would also say it depends on how you reply and how you write a mail matters a lot. Based on my experience, I had a very good experience, and majority of the candidate appreciated when we wrote a closing of the hiring process, right? So the next is about the prepare for the next new opportunity. You learn the lesson, you attend the interview. Wow, it's a great experience. I would say that. And then note down all the lesson learned, and then after learning lesson, then you're gonna go and look for the new opportunity. Do not be stuck. If this doesn't work, don't be stuck. I have seen many, I've attended this interview, didn't work, I'm not interested. Your morale goes down. Think that if you don't motivate yourself, nobody will come and motivate you. You define your profile and your life by yourself, your career, everything, you define it, not the other person. So it's so important to gear up and go to the next, go and seek for the next opportunity, and whatever you learned, implement that for the next interview. And if you've been hired, still you need to be seeing what is your next opportunity. In a sense, after you hired, you be ambitious, you do a great performer, and try to achieve a promotion within the company. The moment there's a promotion, salary will always increase. So always be hunger for opportunity and growth, be it you're hired or not hired. All right, I think I'm done. Mimala?
Yanchila, I think there are some questions they have asked in the chat section.
Sure. So I'm done with my presentation. So this now we have a question and answers session, please.
Yanchila, the Tiwa Thangbo di Tenzin Hawang Gireshara.
Lase.
He's asking, Madam, how can you put the prior practice in an interview for TSP scholarship perspectives? Tibetan scholarship interview la 130 choices.
Tibetan scholarship, see, I'm not really sure what is the present scenario, but based on back then my time, it was 1998, 1999, right? At that time, mostly are filling up the form. I remember that. I don't know, Mingmala, I don't know whether you have an idea of what is, correct me if this is the same procedure been followed. Back then we used to fill up the form, and then everything is like once you fill up the form, then they manually shortlisted. And isn't it the Tibetan scholarship is mostly into how much percentage you score, not like how dynamic you are. Dynamic on your percentage, I would say that, right? Like if you score so and so, you are eligible to, you are shortlisted for scholarship. But unfortunately, I see back then there are some students who actually score like 50%. And see, back then our time, you need to have a minimum 60% to get awarded scholarship.
Apa? Yanchila, the TSP gan apa gian chikshe yuna.
Ale. Mari kurangi tenzil hauna chitane the tiwa di TSP la the tanda Yanchila ikari dishe gyawa di TSP la apply khandis shiva miti kodishe isra. TSP na the tensa ina andi da Yanchila the tango la Susugi that yikcha the Zutira, Chukji Chuni, college student of the Nunda la lo shigi, any digore, the degree chigore.
Okay.
BA plus 1 year of Kareta, MA nere. Indijikore any dijeni entrance re any entrance kasi chawaina shortlist entrance declare chawaina any short interviewer
Okay.
interview chawaina antijeni TOEFL yize tanjura process de tende tosre ani gender chungi gi marks che ani college gi marks tende le je kasi nge no mena tende count chi re sketch khatsu re chi
Okay.
la da
Yeah.
tande re
So I think the whatever the skill I have shared about the interview, how to attend the interview. See, what all documentation is separate thing. You feel upset, like in a documentation also. I am not familiar with that, but I would say that in a documentation, if there's any questionnaire, make sure that you fill up that questionnaire sincerely. Very important. Be sincere what you are writing, and write ambitiously. Right, be ambitious while writing that. And also if that based on that they may shortlist you, and then you call for interview. So when you call they call you for interview, whatever the presentation I gave, it's applicable. Any other questions?
Yangela, Tionyo di tanda English ra, Madam, are the e-resumes shared on social media platforms like LinkedIn will be reviewed by the interviewer? E-resume kwan so social media na la share chigo joro when the
Mhm.
interviewer gi review chigo re la sha
Oh
chigo.
yes, yes, of course. E-resume, LinkedIn is one of the platform I would always recommend to everybody to fill up. But when you fill up, please fill up genuinely. I've seen many Tibetan students who fill up LinkedIn with very casual. Even the first important part is the name, right? The name is written in a small letters. When you write your name, you make sure that your first two words is written in capital letter, right? And then the picture, right? You use the picture, professional picture there. You don't use casual pictures there. So and then whatever detail, it's a face of yourself, and it's a social media. Anybody can browse you and try to know about you. Suppose you have been called for interview. Before calling for interview, I'm sure they might have looked at your LinkedIn profile also. So yes, LinkedIn is it's a new, I would say the new normal. Uh, I recommend you all to fill up LinkedIn. Once you genuinely fill up the LinkedIn, you can extract the resume from there. Actually, they have a format already there. You can extract the resume and paste your photograph and take with you for interview. And another one is Naukri, right? Naukri is one of the very common in India. Naukri is very, very common data which many HR collect. So please fill up Naukri. I would highly recommend Naukri.com. And there's a Monster also, but I would say Naukri and LinkedIn, these two I would highly recommend. Any other questions?
Those Yangchen. Ani tanda also licensing number so ani tiwa shimba yu na. Ani tiwa shimba mena ngi Yangela la tiwa ji. Ani Yangela tanda ngazo diora. Interview la do you any what are the basic etiquette tips you would like to share for the future job seekers? Interview la do you so interviewer do la ni so color da thoro kyunda chine re ya so present chidan de and tips to
Okay. So as I think I have already shared that in the previous also. So I would, most important prepare under the preparation, practice and preparation I've shared, and also I've shared on the communication also verbal and non-verbal. It's you need to take care of both. Outfit is very important, as I already said. Then make sure that you wear a formal outfit, and wear the outfit related to the profession. Example, if you're going for a chef, make sure that you wear a white suit. What chef generally wears. Because if you're a student, if you've done hotel management, you have the outfit already. Please wear that. Don't hesitate to wear that and go for interview. It gives a very good impression about yourself. Because I see that hotel management people going for chef, but they don't wear chef outfit. I don't know why. When during the education they have a uniform already made, please wear that. So likewise, right? If you go for generic, yes, you can wear a formal shirt and pant and the blazer. If you're wearing a skirt, make sure you're wearing the conservative skirt, because unless you're going for fashion interview or kind of a Bollywood interview, then it's different thing. Then I would say, or you wear some conservative Western outfit, I would recommend. And makeup, wear as minimum as possible so that it doesn't cause uncomfort to the environment, because whatever perfume you're wearing, make it mild. Don't wear strong perfume that the people cannot sit beside you. These are the. It looks like it's not that important, but it's very important. It shows who you are.
Let's touch on Yanchilla. I mean, I told him that lesson singing number so Tiwayana Sununa. Yeah. Tiwamena, I mean, Azutari, Yanchilla, Tarin Mazula, the Tizitanche, I mean, Azula, tips pay out so how to face an interview gala. Tamshin or the landing top on the Tujana Shui.
Hello.
They say they don't like Juktombi. This show a message. This there are Angela.
That's it.
That's Tujana. Tujana.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. What are you?
2 years.
During the lesson, Yaku Kulia, Yangchila. Hello.
No.
Sing the
Tanga Narala Tuachiraya, and it's Mara no charge the master of Raya. Evening college Ninga India Kajala Junior the Raya. And in other experience, cut or us some color. Mother did the big basket. Only individual the Raya, I'm so going to get up something with the respect of check out order. And still contribute a mother take. Dual this chance of the rank presentation to get the practice here. Relevant Mekuto, Mekul and Vita and Rahamatanga into the end of the Spiranta Mazu at Tangsho Rata, Kyomatu, check out the situation to the situation I want to lay up the Tangaran and Nagatu to the gather. I'm going to shake out on the spot to the Starats into Mad Roger Dola Sarata. One Rogi. Tango individual and the individual drag or your done your pure chata, and was using to not the overcome line.
No, I can understand that. So, can tell us, Shusa?
Near me, Nima Samira and the Teklo.
Oh, let's say. So, Nima Samula, can get under Yamyung Soryo de very common. Right? It's not something unique or different, very common. Hajogi the evaluation chitang the style kha yorwa. So chitang on the namshu go with me and namsha guni me like the character done under yorwa. And even within among the HR with a different behavior and character is there. Okay, and I'm in HR profession, right? I know that. But the other person, because the way the big basket had dealt with you is very unprofessional. But what I would say that how they have dealt with you, it doesn't define you. It defines them, right? It shows that how unprofessional they are, the way they have handled with you. But in other way, I would suggest you to take things positively. You have experienced that, right? How they have taken the situation, and it's a good lesson learned from you. But what I would say that you just say, all right, thank you so much, and walk away. So yeah, I mean, you walk away, right? If they said you could walk away, so you can walk away. But beside that, do not miss to thank the other person. Another side, we never know that what other person might have gone through whole day also, right? People go through stressful day, and at the end it shows as I told you, right? Whatever you are in mind, it will show you on your face and your attitude and your behavior. So that's why it's very important the individual to settle down, and be smart in dealing with your mind. So, Dila, what you need to do is you have to thank them. You never know tomorrow the last moment of you thanking them, and with a very normal smile, thank you. So then you going, might give a lasting impression, and they may call you tomorrow in future. I don't know how you have reciprocate, but I would still suggest to stay positive and do not get affected by the behavior of other person. And then another way is some HR will try to do a stress test. To do a stress test, they will put you in a difficult situation, especially like marketing field, right? Marketing field, they will try to pressurize you with a different question. Why? Because marketing and customer relation kind of a field, they want to see your patient level and your professional way of dealing the situation. So sometimes they'll purposely create that situation and give you this kind of experience. But please do not be demotivated. As I told you that you are the person to motivate yourself. There will be nobody always think that there will nobody to come to you and motivate you. So you are the best person to motivate yourself, and do not give up. It's an initial side. It's a career where you must keep excelling your opportunity. And also, if you need any help, please contact me. Don't hesitate to contact me. I will figure out and see what I can help you, but I want to understand your profile first. All right. And then we can have some kind of a training to you, and then put you for the interview around. Like I have done that in the past for Tibetan students. They have come and done an internship with it. Right now, situation is a little bad. We all are working from home, so but we can still see what can be done, and then step by step, we can figure out, and help you out to get the job, right?
That's all.
Okay.
That's it.
Hello, Mingmala.
Mingmala mute.
Yangela, thank you, Yangela, for the great presentation and everyone for participating. Could you please recommend some good books about communication skills and body language, which will be beneficial for interview?
Okay. Well, I don't remember any specific book. Seriously, me as a person, I'm very particular about building a how you communicate and building an expert in communication skill. That area I'm very interested since very long time. But even a body language also, right? Even at my present company, I keep addressing that to them. We have a orientation when new employee joins. We have a specific training session for that. Even though it's an engineering and architecture company, but still we stress a lot on that, because when they deal with a client, we really need to pay attention, right? But I would say, please go to online. There are a lot of information there. Just type in to build a good communication skill, professional communication skill. You will have a lot of data, and then body language. Please type body language. You will have a lot of information there. So no specific books for you. Try to learn from different author. I would say that, right? Because it's very important, because every individual has a different way of looking at the situation. So never stick to one author. Always go for 2-3 author and try to understand different school of thought. I always recommend that. And even I say about mentoring, in general, whether you are in career mentoring, or you are trying to get some mentor, or try to you try to look at somebody as a mentor, do not idolize. Not like, just don't go through one person, and always remember that the person is not perfect, and the person may not be good at everything. So that's why the people go wrong, right? Young people especially, why they get misled, that they are so 100% into their friend, whoever they are, or maybe they are with some senior people there's are people with a different profile, right? people just do blind faith, right? Blind faith. That's not healthy in our life. Very important to pick the best out of everybody and listen and understand different thoughts. So then you know which one is suitable for you or which is not suitable for you. It's same in religion also, right? All religion we cannot consume ourselves. We will not believe everything in certain things. Even within one religion, we don't trust and believe in certain things, right? So likewise, whenever you are learning, be it communication and body language or any aspect, please try to take opinion or try to learn the different thoughts from different authors. Yeah.
Yangchela ni tiwa ju didirsha string domane how to overcome fear while facing an interview. Looking at the interviewer makes much more nervous.
Yeah, it's very natural. It's not only you, Sringamala, it's everybody. Like tomorrow, if I go for interview, if I go for an interview for a more, dynamic opportunities, definitely I'll also be nervous a bit. But how you can tackle that? Prepare yourself. Please try to prepare yourself, and then preparing mind, positive positive mindset, build a positive mindset, and also build your subject knowledge. These two, please prepare ahead. Then you will be, as I give you already points on the top, right? Prepare and let me go so that this will be helpful. Prepare, and I think whoever wants a PPT, I can help out also to get that. So I would say over here, right? Preparation. Yeah, this one, right? So these area, if you prepare yourself, you will be more confident, I would say that, And then here also in the phase 2, I've explained to you that how to be, if you prepare yourself, this, and then at time of interview, what you must supposed to do, that will break down your nervousness. And try to understand what all I have discussed. Please try to coordinate with you what you have done in the past that you are so nervous. Without reason, we will not be nervous. You are not confident enough by yourself. That's why you are nervous. So just be confident and think that other person is also a human being. The other person also not easy. The other person also is preparing too. Don't think that interviewers are not preparing. They're also preparing. They try to see your profile, try to understand. They know who you are, but still they will ask you a question. Tell me something about you. Why they will ask the question? They know about you everything after seeing the resume, but they still ask you because they want to know how you speak. They want to see how you are confident about yourself. That's why they're asking that question. They know you. They know about you everything. They have researched everything about you. But still they ask because they want to hear from you and see what you think about yourself. So please practice and prepare and have a positive mindset. That will help you out a lot.
How do we face racial discrimination in interview which we may face as a minority?
Oh, very good question. Sorry, very good question. Why? Because being a Tibetan, number one, and being a refugee, this question's been come to me every time whenever I do a session. It's not a new, but it's a very good question. Why? Because most of the Tibetan youngsters think that, there is a discrimination there for sure. But if you ask me personally, I have never faced racial discrimination because I never think that way. So first thing is the way you think. You must do homework within yourself before pointing on other person. The moment you have a mindset of, the other person is going to discriminate me because of my being minority and by being a Tibetan refugee, that is your base foundation of your mindset. Please, when it's about the corporate, when it's about the work, nobody care who you are, which background, what. They care about what you do, how your performance is, how productive you are. Suppose someone is able to, produce 5 documentation in a day, and if you are able to produce 10 documentation in a day, they care about that. Nobody care about who you are and what you are. But yes, as I said about soft skill, yes, if you're a difficult person to work with, if you're not a well-behaved people, yes, these are the concerns for sure. But when it's about the background, and especially being Tibetan, I think that way, okay? Being looking different and being a Tibetan, I always think that we have a plus point. We have advantage of being a foreigner looking, and anybody want to have a foreigner in their company. They want a different face with a different culture, because most of the company are based into the they believe in integrity, they believe in multicultural kind of a this is the new life. Please, you guys are young people, never have that thought at all. The moment you have that thought, there it goes wrong. It's always advantage being different. Always think that it's advantage of being different, or unless or until someone really experience that, someone says that, oh, you are different, I hate you. If someone says that in front of you and says that, then yes, it's true. Otherwise, I would say that everything is circulating within our head, and it's just our our historical is annoying us. It's just our thought, because I've never come across this. I worked in a profession for 18 years now in Indian industry, and also I worked in US. Wherever I go, I felt just not normal treatment. I have always experienced a special treatment. I always felt that I've been treated special, more respect, and more differently in a nice, positive manner. I've never experienced that. Because why? I deliver the work. I get the work done to the best, and I'm competitive. I'm competitive in that doesn't mean that I try to pull other leg. I'm competitive because I'm competent. So be competent, be competitive. That all matters. Nothing else matters, because it's all about business and making money, right? So please have that mindset. Never think in case if someone really feels that that place is not for you, you need to get out immediately. If the moment you really experience that and someone says that in sentence, first thing, you must go to HR and report it. You must tell your boss. If your boss itself is like, or if you are the main owner of the company itself has this kind of attitude, then please, I told you, right? Know the company. I told you in the front, right? Know the company before you're going anywhere. So it's very important. Company leadership, I told you, right? Know the leadership. If you think that leadership looks authoritative, leadership look old school, please don't go. It's not meant for you. If you like old school, then you go for it. So that's what, study and see where you are, if you are at the right place or not. In case anybody go through this kind of a situation, please report to HR, report to your owner, and not only just verbally, email it. The moment you email, it gets documented. It's in writing. So do that, and then please look for a new opportunity and don't stay in that company. All right?
Madam Yangchen Dolkar tanda dela towards the saya. Nang ado kareta Indian Bangalore dollar budding industry do mangu da na big basket ta major basket into mangu da ya. Any didola India do samanga do vocal la na yaga ore ya mena non vocal la na yaga ore kesi manto individual attend ho chana.
See, it depends on who you are. What do you prefer? Vocal, the non-vocal, I don't think so. If you are the person who like to talk, go for vocal. If you are good in communication skill, in verbal communication, please go for vocal. And if you think that you are kind of little, you are introvert and not enjoying, to go talk a lot. See, it is very important to enjoy the job. If you enjoy the job, then you will be at the best, and you will be able to perform the best. So first see who you are, and then choose. But if you say about the opportunity, if you see that I'm good at both, I can handle both, then go for vocal, because vocal is more. It has a very open-ended opportunities. I would say that in a sense, if you are able to handle things vocally, then you will be the non-vocal can be taken care. So I would say that smarter people will go for vocal. I would say that. So please go for vocal, and it's a better future for you.
Thank you.
아니, 제가 신바요나. Hello.
Tak want to jawab, mangko to just Madam yang silangat kyo wati la profile that is there rasaya. Ani Madam di tangko bachelor do tha, ini HR do ya mutin development do cheda. Tak HR development chene tangko Madam pati Saint Joseph Arts and Science do da, ini evening college do da ya. Ani want la HR jangkore Saint Joseph evening college da.
Oh no. Evening college, I've done in Mount Carmel College.
Oh, okay. What the HR jangkore Madam?
Oh yeah. Specialize in HR. It's a management course. See, in the management course, right? MBA or PGDM. Nowadays, saying PGDM. Why? Because all those autonomous university, they use it as a PGDM. When it's with a university, state university, they will use that MBA like that. So I'm sure this will change. I don't understand the difference, but it's just the educational politics, I would say. In fact, actually, the private universities are more dynamic than I would say that the old school kind of a syllabus. MBA has more of old school syllabus, I would say that, but depends on the lecturer how they take, right? Yeah. So yes, taking me as a base example, that I have done my bachelor. After bachelor, I worked for quite long, and then I realized that I felt that I can do a little different and be better. And then I decided to do my MBA, which is PGDM. So I have done that in the evening college, and I was working in the morning time, and then evening I went to attend the college. So it was a stressful life, but it was amazing, I would say, but very stressful, but amazing. I had a very amazing experience, and then I'm able to pay my own fee, right? I'm working and I'm paying my fee. I'm not becoming a dependent on my parents. So it's same like after bachelor, because we really don't want to dependent culture. In Tibetan culture, we have that kind of a mindset that we don't want to be dependent to parents for a long time. Pama gets very old. We are worried about that, right? And then we immediately, try to want to work. So for me, my scenario was different. So I have a little difficult at family. So then I thought, okay, let me start working. Have some, save some, amount, and then do my further study like that. So I have done like that. Yeah. After that, then I got a lot of opportunities. So I give you another feedback. I would say that when I was working in the morning and I was studying in the evening, it's not that I'm only studying, but I'm building a network. When I'm working, I meet different people, right? So my role was client relation. So I was meeting different client at that company. So I was telling the client, they will say, "Hi, hello, how are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." Little headache, hectic lifestyle. They'll be like, "Why?" Because they think that I'm at the client relation at the front desk. Why she has a hectic, because this is a human nature. Everybody thinks that their life is most hectic, not the others. But we must know that everybody is struggling. Even if it's an office boy, they take that work as a struggling, and their job is very, very stressful, and they think that the others are not. So same like anywhere, right? Where I'm working in engineering company, engineers will always think that they have into the big pressure and they are struggling, but the administration are not having much stress, or administration people think that they are stressed out, but engineers are not. So inter profession kind of a biased thought is there, very common. But for me, my clients say, "Oh, why? What happened?" So I say, "No, I'm doing my MBA, And they will, "Oh, great, you're doing MBA, yes." And I say, "I'm doing in HR, specialized in HR and marketing." So marketing was another secondary interest I had back then. So that way, I'm connecting with people and letting people know. So it's very important you to socialize and do networking. So if you do that, tomorrow if there's an opportunity, right? That person will call you. They'll say, "Hey, there's an opportunity there. And, it might interest you." and they call you and they will, so that way you know, right? So networking, building networking is very, very important in our career. For me, whatever I have achieved so far, it's all through network. When I done with my MBA, number of client has given me an opportunity and call me, and some I have out of my client with a general our professional network outside. And then I can decide upon which one I should go and which is the best for me. I can choose. So that's what. Please, constantly networking is very important, and let people know what you are doing is very important, and it will help you.
That's good enough.
Yes.
Yangchila, ni theoretic this Tenzin Yangchen ne thanju pumule ni. What notes should we take about the institution before applying? I'm doing medical course.
Okay, so as I, Yangchen La, as I shared with you on the top here, so over here, so know about the company is the thing. So we are going back to this one, right? So I would suggest to know the company, what kind of business they are. First, but before you going there, you must also know the job description there, right? You are applying for certain medical means. If you are applying for some doctor, say if you are doing giving for a dental doctor, or you are doing a dental supporting team. So know your job description and see how they describe the job. Is that the one you want to do or not? It's very important first. After thinking you really want to do that, that's very interesting position for me, like that. If you think, then go and find out the company about the which hospital it is, what is the hospital has a legacy about history, what kind of leadership they have, is there any growth for me in this company if I join. You see that in leadership, some leadership has started their career from the beginning, and they become at the top level. So this shows that there is a growth in that company. But there are some company who don't give growth within the company. It's a different management system. Some company internally they'll give a growth by promotion. Some company they prefer to hire from outside than giving the thing. But two is a two different way of management system and has their own different way of explaining the scenario. So see that whether if there's a growth and you think that oh, I'm not going to stay in this company for a long time, I'm going to just have 2-3 years or 5 years experience, I'll move out for the better opportunity. And these companies just to get experience, if you're investing, is a different thing. Then you don't have to worry about the leadership, right? So please look at the leadership, so it will help you to define the growth also. Other than that, the location, right? Whether it's feasible for you to go there, what is the facility there? If it's a far and outskirt city or anything, make sure that they're providing a safe accommodation or not. All this you must check and see whether it's likable or not. But please, I see a lot of young people, they just decide not to work on the far location area. You can always move the wherever you stay, you can move near to the company, right? And always move near to company because it's less stressful for you. Traffic is very bad in the city, so always try to go and find the spot. But finding the right company is more important. Finding the right opportunity and designation is more important than anything else. All right.
Number so two come a guess.
Oh, we quite long now. But great. I mean, I'm happy that I'm hearing interesting questions from the participant. I'm very happy for that.
Two ni theo mena ngaz thari lesson de jam shagira ni anjila thuze te ape go chuan tharing ge session de pe interactive che chacho che ni mangbuchi ge theo yan je ko so an khonjo number samma ge thogji den se u cha re wa ye ani thujina samalo thujina
okay ani malo
no
Hello.
If anybody wants my contact detail, you could share my email ID and phone number to them, so they can always connect with me if they need any help, right?
That's all.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Yangchen La Tujana.
Welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.